Good morning. Good morning. Change. If you're afraid of change, so that means you're gonna be stuck in the cell. So if you're gonna be afraid of change, it's like you're in a prison. Most people are like that, believe it or not. Most people are afraid of change. Most people they're not in a prison, in a physical prison, but they're in the prison of their mind. So change is very important, right? If you don't change, then there's no way you're gonna become better. There's no way you're gonna go to better places, higher places. The only way you can get to higher places, make more money, be more happy, is through change, right? And change can be scary in the beginning, but you gotta do it. That's the only way you can get freedom. If you're afraid of change, that means you will have zero freedom. But sadly, at least 90% of people are afraid of change. If you are afraid of change, then you're basically pissing your life away. You're just living every day the same way, exact same way you were living before. Then, in my opinion, I don't know what everybody else think. In my opinion, I think that's a waste of time, waste of lifetime. Because let's face it, right? We don't have a lot of time in our life. Most people, they live, let's say if somebody lived until their 70s, in your 20s, you're in school. In your 70s or 80s, you're getting older. You're not as healthy as when you're younger. So literally, you only have the most productive life you have is only like 20 or 30 years, maximum 40 years. And if you subtract the time you're gonna go to sleep every day, so literally, what you have to do is the time you have to work on yourself is probably only 20 years. So there's really, Paul, thank you. Good morning. So there's really no time to waste, right? So if you subtract the time you go to sleep, subtract the time you study in school, subtract the time you're getting old, you only have literally 20 years the most in your life to make something out of your life. So there's no luxury for you to be scared, right? You cannot to make the change. If you don't change, then the world's just gonna leave you behind. So it's just like my experience, right? So for the past 3 years, I'm doing okay in my brokerage business. So I was making $300,000, $400,000 a year. But now the market is kind of changing, right? So that's why even before that, so even before the market changed, I started, doing something, more. So I started investing in mobile home parks. I started, doing some online teaching. I started doing more TikTok. So that's my way of changing. That's my way of starting something new. That way, I'm not just stuck with that one source of cash flow, right? Thank you for your advice. Just don't want to pivot in the wrong direction and lose millions. Okay, so here's the thing. If you don't pivot, the opportunity cost is actually higher than versus you make mistake. For example, let's say if you're gonna sit there not change, and because you're worried that you're gonna lose make mistakes, then you're thinking, okay, for example, I'll just give you an example for investment. Let's say if there's $1 million mobile home parks, and it's a good deal, but because it's your first time, so you're not sure if it's a good deal or not. So because you're scared, right? You're brand new at it. So you sit there instead of buying that 100 unit mobile home parks, you didn't buy it. You missed the chance. So yes, you didn't make any mistakes. Yes, you didn't take any risk, but you lost the chance to make that $1 million. For example, I'll give you my experience. So before a while ago, I bought a mobile home park. So that was my first time buying a mobile home park. So I looked for many parks around the nation, and the first park I identified was a park in Houston. So I tried to buy it, and then because that was my first time, so I chickened out. Right, I chickened out, then I pulled my money out. I took back my deposit. But now looking back, I should have bought that park because that was a 37 unit park. That was nearby Houston. At the time, I was buying it for $700,000, and the seller was financing me. So I only had to put down $300,000. The seller was gonna finance me $400,000. But at the time, I just because I was doing the due diligence, I was doing the environmental report, and I got somebody the road contractor to do a quote for the road, and the contractor told me it's gonna cost me $400,000 to fix the road. So I backed out because of that reason. But that was just chicken shit, right? That's just like me being scared. So I should have bought it. If I bought that park, now that park is gonna be worth at least $1.5 million. So that would mean I would make at least $800,000 just with $300,000 down payment. So I didn't buy that one. Then I look at another one, another park in Yuma. That park in Yuma, that was like about 50 units. I put the deposit in, the $10,000 deposit, and I was also doing the environmental inspection. That park was a killing deal because I was doing research, and some parks nearby. I saw a park that only has 30 units. It sold for $3 million. Imagine this one I was looking at. It has almost 50 units, but I was getting it for like $900,000. So, but I was doing the due diligence. I was doing the environmental report. So what? But the park has a big problem because the park has a water well that's contaminated. It has a lot of contamination. So that's a major red flag, right, for lawsuit. So because I waited, because I was trying to work everything out, and at the time I was still kind of new. So because I have my deposit in there, but at the same time, because the environmental inspection report is very expensive. It's like a couple $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Because I was trying to wait until I know for sure whether I'm gonna move forward or not before I do the environmental inspection. But the problem is, without the environmental inspection, you cannot make the decision to move forward or not, right? Because you gotta know the outcome of the environmental inspection. If it doesn't pass phase 1, you cannot buy it, right? So I waited. Eventually, I got my environmental inspection report, and it shows contamination. It didn't pass phase 1 inspection. But the problem is, I have my deposit, and the contingency period is kind of expiring. So I couldn't buy it. I didn't buy it because the environmental inspection didn't pass phase 1. So I had to back out. But because I didn't back out in time, so I till today I still didn't get back my $10,000. But should I quit? So if I quit this time, then I would have lost $10,000, right? Then no, I didn't quit. So I kept looking. Until I found another park in Florida. So this one, and it's surprise. So they always say, right? Sometimes every time when you try to do something new, the third time is the charm, right? The third time is the charm, because you're gonna need time to study. You're gonna need time to learn. You're gonna need time to learn, to get used to something that's new that you're doing, right? So finally, when it comes to the third time, I became more comfortable because I already tried twice before, right? So I bought it. I bought it for really cheap, for like only $600,000. But so I'm right now I'm getting like $10,000 a month just from rent. So I still have 10 spaces that are empty. So if I fill those spaces out, I could easily get $120,000 a month. I mean, $12,000 a month, or maybe 15,000. Even maybe 17,000, 170,000 a year. So that means when I sell the property, I can probably easily get $1.5 million a couple years down the road. So I paid for $600,000. If I sell for $1.6 million, then I make $1 million, right? So the opportunity cost of not taking the risk is actually much higher versus taking the risk. For example, I took that risk, right? I tried to buy three parks, and I finally got the third park. But although, in the between, I did waste some money, on the environmental report, because I paid the environmental report for the park in Houston. I also pay for the environmental report for the park in Yuma, Arizona, and I still didn't get my deposit back, the $10,000 deposit. So that's my opportunity cost. But luckily I got the last park, so I'm looking to make at least $1 million. So you have to take risk. The risk of not taking risk is actually much higher than taking the risk, because when you take the risk, you can always pivot, right? What's the worst that can happen? Maybe you're gonna lose a couple $1,000. So what? But at least you learn something new. At least you have a chance to get a new deal. But if you do not take the risk, if you're just gonna sit there, that's the biggest risk. It's the same thing. No, I'm just giving the example of me buying the mobile home park, but it's the same thing for your life. If you don't take any risk in your life, it's worse. It's the worst decision you ever made. Okay, if you do not take any risk in your life, you're just gonna sit there doing the same old thing you were doing before. If you're scared, if you're not willing to step out your comfort zone, if you just kept doing the same old thing you're doing before, day in day out, there's nobody gonna get ahead, right? Then it's like you never get a chance to live your life, right? Like I said earlier, If you subtract the time you're in school, subtract the time you're getting old, and subtract the time you're gonna sleep, really, literally, every one of us, we only have the most 20 years, 20 active years. You gotta take advantage of that 20 years, right? So the airplane's going over. So, like I said, everything is temporary, right? So, your money is not yours. Your body is not yours. Your house is not yours. Your car is not yours. Then why do you worry about taking a risk? Even if you lose money, so what? It's not even your money, right? The money is, you gotta get on. You gotta get into the games. You gotta stay playing yourself instead of watching other people play, right? Okay, let me go through the, sorry, I started talking for so long. Let me look at all the notes. I'm very glad I found you. I'm gonna have to watch all your videos. Good, sir. Thank you. Follow my TikTok. Give me some likes. Whatever question you have, let me know. Because a lot of everything I'm talking about now, it's very universal. Everybody have the same problem. Everybody have the same fear. Everybody have the same scare. I'm going into the game to play. It's not because I'm not scared. I'm scared too. But it just that happens that when I was younger, I joined the army. I went to boot camp. So after that experience, I see the fruit of taking risk. Because I went to the army, I was able to travel around the world. I was able to meet new people. It's exciting, right? So but before I joined the army, I was very scared, because I was young. I was like in my early 20s. I was worried that people is gonna bully me. I was worried that something's gonna go wrong. I had so much worry, so much scare in my mind before I went to the boot camp. But once I went to the boot camp, once I went to the army, it's not that bad, right? So a lot of times the fear is just fear itself. It's not it's a fake fear. It's not even a real fear. So if you try to learn to take risk, if you teach yourself how to take risk, then the more risk you take, the more comfortable you're gonna be at taking risk. So that's if I have to pick, the one thing that's gonna help anybody to get ahead, it's take risk. Be willing to take risk. Eighth graders cannot work. Oh, you're eighth graders? No, you can. There's look it up. I forgot his name. His name is Matt. I think his first name is Matt. He's a millionaire. He's only like 15 years old. There's a lot of work you can do online nowadays. You can grow your TikTok account. You can do some work on Fiverr.com. You can help people to mow their lawn. You can help people to sell the stuff in their garage. Don't limit your age. Okay, don't say I cannot do anything because I'm eighth grader, or I cannot do anything because I'm 60 years old. Don't. That's just something the society put you in the box, right? Don't try to put yourself in a box. Doesn't matter how old you are. Just do whatever you want to do. Third time's the charm. So important. Lesson for me to hear just now. Yeah, you gotta keep trying, right? You cannot be like, sit at home and worry this, worry that. Don't worry, just go fucking do it, right? Okay, cookies. Thank you for the share. You're very right. Thank you. Can you talk about stepping up with uncertainty? Okay, talking about stepping up with uncertainty. Okay, I'll use the mobile home park as example too. So just the fact of taking risk, it literally means you're gonna do something when you do not have all the answer, right? So if you look at investment, the investment that has zero risk will not get you any return, right? The only investment that's gonna get you any kind of return is gonna have some type of risk, right? So you just need to go as you learn, right? It's like when I started trying to invest in mobile home parks, I don't know anything about mobile home parks. So one thing you can help you to ease your uncertainty is get a course. That's what I did. So before I started investing in mobile home parks, I bought the course. It's called I forgot the name, $1 million mobile home park investing, whatever. I forgot the name. So try to study as much as you can, but don't make the mistake of just studying. Don't do it. After you study, you gotta try it. After you study, you gotta try it. So then I studied it. Then I went to try it. So I'll give you an example. So I was calling all the parks that I tried to buy, they're not on the market. They're off market. So I just called the owners nationwide. I just called them, asked them, do you want to sell? If they say they want to sell, ask them how much. Then I calculate, is it worth it for me? So if I think that it's worth it for me, then I just fly there, right? For example, the park I bought in Florida, When I flew to Florida, I didn't even know that park owner wants to sell. So I was in Florida. I was in the Panhandles. It's nearby Georgia as well. So at the time, I was looking at some parks in Georgia. So I had a list of parks that I called before I go. I think it's about like 10 parks that I was gonna go to every one of them just to look at them, right? So at the time, I was looking at another park in Georgia, and this park owner from Florida called me. So she was like, "Oh, I have these 3 little parks, and we want to sell." So that's the risk I took, right? I flew to Florida. I didn't know if for sure I'm gonna be able to get a park or not, but I still flew there because if I don't fly there, then I'm not gonna have a chance. It just happens that when this owner from the Florida mobile home park called me, I was just happened to be there at the time when she called. If I wasn't there when she called, then for me to go back out there, it's gonna take me maybe 1 week, 2 weeks. By the time I go back there, maybe she already sold to somebody else. It just happens that I was willing to take a risk to go to Florida, even though at the time I wasn't sure if I'm gonna be able to get a park or not. But I still went there because I have a list of parks I want to look at. But because I was there, the owner from the Florida, she called me, and because I happens to be there, so I was able to go look at the park. And that's how about the park. So if you're just gonna wait every time you're gonna do something, you're always gonna wait for 100% everything to be lined up to do something. There's no way you're gonna get it done. There's no way, right? You gotta implement. You gotta, even if you have maybe 50% chance, then you gotta start doing it. Then you gotta pivot. You just give me the kick I need. Awesome, man. I took risk to be independent contractor. So stressful. Okay. Okay. Here's the thing. So you need to know how to leverage, how to manage. So when you become a business owner, you need to hire people to take some work off your plate. You cannot be the only person. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, you need to work on the business. You cannot work inside the business. If you're working inside the business, then you're going to have all the headaches. You need to work on top of the business, right? So that's what you're paying people for. You pay people to solve your problem. You pay people to take over your headaches, right? So that's the reason they're paid. The main reason they're getting anybody that's getting paid is because they are taking over your headache. They're solving your problem. So as an entrepreneur or as a business owner, you shouldn't be the person that's carrying all the problems. You should be working on a business. You should hire people to take care of your problems. But obviously in the beginning you're the only person. But so here's the thing. Whether it's a headache for you or not, whether it's stressful or not, it's not because what you're doing that's stressful. It's something that you're not good at that makes you stressful. Because everybody have different personality. Like for example, me, I'm a high D, high I. So there's 4 personalities, as if you guys don't know: dominance, influential, and careful, and also C and S. So dominance person like outcome, don't like detail. Influential person like to communicate. S people like to make people feel good. C people they like the details. So me, I'm a high D, high I. I like to be in charge. I like to talk to people. So I don't like paperwork. I don't like the details. So if you want me to do those detailed work, that's gonna give me big stress. So what do? Then I just hire people to do the work that I'm not good at or I don't enjoy doing. So that's the way to eliminate your stress. Your stress is because you're doing something you do not enjoy. Just hire people to do the work that you do not enjoy doing. That doesn't match your personality. And also because of that, whoever you hire, you need to make sure the person that you hired to fill that job, their personality need to fit the nature of that job. I took my real estate exam and failed the state. Okay. There's one very famous word, what they say, right? Failure is the mother of all success, right? You heard of that, right? Failure is the mother of all success. If you fail, that means you're getting closer, right? I have a real estate sales license before. I have a real estate broker license. So for my real estate sales license, I think I failed twice before I passed. For my real estate broker license, I also failed twice before I passed. So the fact you're failing is just because you're not ready. So you need to fail more. You need to fail faster. If you fail enough times, then you're going to be ready. Then you're going to be able to, get to where you want to be. If you're failing, that's good. That means you're making progress. If you're not failing, that's no good, because that means you're not taking risks. You're not doing anything. Do you mentor? Yes, I can. I mean, you can. Okay, you can follow. I'm gonna add you. You can add me. Okay. I cannot get any loans until I have 2 years tax return. No, that's a misconception. So check out one of my video. I did a video about any idiots can get a mortgage. Yes, you too. So there's different kind of mortgage, right? There's the conventional mortgage from the major banks. Those mortgages are hard to get. But nowadays there's many private lender where they don't look at the income. They only look at the income from the property. Maybe the interest rate is a little bit higher, 5%, 6%. So what? You only need 20% down, and you can get a mortgage. Just look for that video. The name is Any Idiot Can Get a Mortgage. Yes, you too. Thank you. I appreciate your help. I'm going to take risk right now. Awesome, man. I got some used toilet paper for sale. I got some sundown properties for sale. You practice martial arts this morning? Yes. So you got to be consistent, right? Another thing that's very important is you got to be consistent, because nothing you do will be easy, right? You gotta accept the fact that as long as you accept this fact, everything's hard, everything's difficult, everything's gonna take a lot of overcoming a lot of obstacles to get to where you want to go. Then once you accept this fact, then you'll be at peace with it. Then you will accept it. Then you'll be okay with it. It does take persistence. It takes day in and day out practice in order for you to get to somewhere. You on your way, man. Jason, what's up, buddy? Follow my TikTok. Give me some likes. Whatever question you have, we can talk about it. So you gotta take risk, and you gotta because the opportunity cost is too high. The worst risk to take, the worst risk to take is not taking risk at all, because then you just watch your life fly by you, and you have nothing to show for at the end of your life, right? I'm gonna put on my sunglasses. There's a little bit of sun. Let me see. Hello. Oh, we were just talking about taking risk.
How are you? Where are you from?
Good. I'm from Los Angeles, California. Where are you from?
Oh wow, I'm from Ukraine.
Ukraine. Oh, awesome. Good.
What?
I accepted your challenge. So some other people tried to invite me. I didn't accept because they look kind of ugly. So I'm talking with other people about taking risk. Are you taking any risk? What you up to? Navy Fed.
My interest.
I'm teaching them about. I'm not teaching, but I'm sharing with them about taking risk and investing in real estate. Thoughts on Navy Federal Home Buyer Choice Program. There's many programs. I mean, if you're a veteran, you can use the VA loan. You can use the There's actually, I found out there is a rural loan. There's a rural mortgage. You only need 10% down. You can find a property and you can put it into the government website. I can share with the website later on. Then you can put the address in there. Then you can find out if the property belongs to a rural place or not. If it is, you only need 10% down. What you up to? What's your name? Let me see. What's your name?
My name?
Yeah.
Vieta.
Vieta. Okay.
Vieta. Yes. Your name?
My name's Ray.
Okay.
You guys have any questions for this beautiful lady? You're from Ukraine.
What?
You say you're from Ukraine?
Yes, Ukraine.
They fighting a war in Ukraine now?
Yes, I'm now Ukraine.
No, is there a war happening? Because in the news we're hearing that people are fighting a war. Did that affect you? Did somebody fighting from Russia?
Now Ukraine dangerous.
It's dangerous.
But what?
It's dangerous, right?
Yes.
Is there people fighting on your street in your neighborhood?
Oh, I don't understand.
Are there people fighting in your neighborhood on the street, nearby you? Are there troops? Are there soldiers nearby you?
I don't understand. Sorry.
That's okay.
My English little.
No, your English is pretty good. Your English is pretty good.
Tony.
So, what are you doing today?
What?
What are you doing today? Let me see if there's more.
I'm now watching my mother.
Working with your mother. What kind of business do you do? What kind of business do you do? Business. What business do you do? Okay, let me answer this question. What are you doing with your arm? So I'm training something. This is called let me lower the camera a little bit. So I'm training. It's called a Wing Chun. So it's a form of martial art. So this is called a little idea. So in the morning I train this to practice. What kind of business do you do, Lena? Sivi?
What?
What business? What do you do with your mother?
My mother go to magazine. Go to сейчас to pay it. To pay eating.
To pay eat?
Yes. Также будет продукты.
What you mean, like food? Selling food in the market?
Yes, yes.
What kind of food? What kind of food in the market?
Market. My mother go to the food of the market. Yes.
She sell food in the market.
What?
She sell food in the market, like a restaurant.
Oh, I don't understand.
That's okay. What do you do you feel safe in Ukraine now?
I understand, but I'm not say. But my English so.
How did you learn English?
What?
How did you learn English?
My English.
Do you learn English in school?
No school.
You just learn by yourself.
Вадим, приветик. Я не видела, если честно. Я почистила свои подписчики, может, случайно отписалась.
Who are you talking to? Exercising. Okay, any other questions?
Okay, Pask, thank you.
What'd you say?
No. Okay, thank you, the battle.
I laugh.
Go. Good day.
Okay, you too. Good day. Okay. Any other questions, guys? I'm just gonna do more practice. Elbow practice. You still in LA? Yes, I'm in LA right now. Correct. But I gotta go to Dallas, Austin, and Florida. Follow my TikTok. Give me some likes. Whatever question you have, we can talk about it. Let me know where you're from. I'm going to Dallas for the syndication conference, and I'm going to Austin for the crypto conference. I'm going to Florida to look at a couple more parks and yes, yeah, in Florida, yes. How's business going? So the brokerage business is kind of slowed down a little bit. So so I need to like I said earlier, right? So I implemented some more business, other cash flow. I started teaching some course, real estate sales course, and started getting more cash flow from mobile home parks, and also so just getting new source of cash flow. But mostly what I do is still revolving around real estate, because that's my what my mostly where my experience is focusing. What language do you speak? I speak Mandarin, English, Mandarin, and Cantonese. Let me just practice first. So I can save my time. So I can chat with you guys and practice at the same time. That way I can, save some time. I'm practicing Little Idea, Wing Chun. The Xiu Lin Tao, Little Idea from Wing Chun. Okay, I'm going to stay on for 3 more minutes. Now it's 10:07. Okay, I'm going to stay on for 3 minutes. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for being here. Where are you from? H2O Perligino. This live, what's this live about? So we talk about change. So some people, they say, I'm scared of change. So I just share with them my experience of change. So because nowadays everything's moves so fast. If you're gonna stay the same way, if you're gonna stay doing the same thing that you're doing before, maybe very quickly you're gonna be obsolete. Then how do you keep yourself from being obsolete? Then you're gonna make change, because it's not like 20 years ago, right? 20 years ago, you can work on one job for 20 years and you retire. Nowadays, everything changed so fast. For example, my brokerage business. My brokerage business, for the past couple of years is very easy business, right? It doesn't take too much effort. So I make 300K, 400K is easy. But now because the market is kind of changing, so it's not going to be like that anymore. It's not going to be as easy anymore. So I have to make changes. I have to, get other source of income. But I started making this change even from 2 years ago or 3 years ago. If I hadn't started making those changes, if I only started now, then it would be too late, right? So you need to always have a plan B, right? So for example, a couple years ago, I started investing in mobile home parks. So I was able to, have some income to replace my, the income that's decreased from my brokerage business. So I also, I started, teaching some course, like real estate sales course. So I have other incomes came in. So you gotta change, you gotta pivot, you gotta have new cash flow come in, because nowadays we're living in a world that has a very fast pace. Everything's changing, everything's different. So if you're gonna stay the same, doing the same old thing, then you're gonna become obsolete. And pretty soon your cash flow, whatever cash flow you have before, you're gonna dry out, because the world's changing. If you don't change with the world, then you're gonna be left behind. Your family from Guangdong? My mom is. How'd you know? My mom is. My dad is not. Just change my role of 6 years. What did you change? So I even had plan C, but it all went wrong. So, okay. So plan C is this. When you have a secondary plan, it's not going to go right the first time. You got to pivot. You got to try. You got to fail a couple times before you can get it. Because the definition of change means you're going to do something new, right? If you're doing something new, you're not going to be good at it. And of course, initially, you're going to fail because you don't know. You don't know better, right? But if you try a couple times, then, eventually you will get it. So it's like I made another video on how the easiest way to get rich. The easiest way to get rich is to change your identity, change your role, right? For example, before I was a real estate, before when I first started in Korea, I was a soldier. I wasn't making much money, as a soldier back then. I was only making like $10,000 a year, right? Then later on, I become a real estate broker, and as I become good at it, then I started making 100,000, 20,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, right? Then after that, I changed the role, become a real estate investor. Bam! I make one deal, I make $1 million. So the fastest way for you to make a lot of money is change your role, change your identity. That's the fastest way to make more money. Why am I able to make $1 million? Of course, I didn't make it yet, but I'm I'll be looking at making that much money because I already acquired that property. Because when you're a real estate broker, then you're just making money from commission. But when you become a real estate investor, then you're gonna make money from the equity. So it's much faster to make money from equity, because when you're making money from equity, it's the money making money for you. When you're making money as a broker for the commission, you're using your sweat and your physical power to make the money. So it's gonna be slow because you have a time constraint and it's gonna be hard. But if the minute you become an investor and the minute you can use your money to make money, then that's how you can be able to multiply. You're gonna be able to 10x the speed you're making money. So the easiest way to make more money is to change your identity. Went from being a developer to sales. Yeah, developer and sales is very different. What if you don't care about money? It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be money. I'm just using an example. It could be anything. It could be, I want to travel to 100 countries in the world. Whatever goal you have. Do you listen to Lana Del Rey? Who is that? I don't know. My grandmother said that I'm too dependent on technology. I disconnected her life support. Wow. Is that true? What was that? I don't understand what you said. Alice Ball. Okay, thank you for all the questions. Hopefully I answered your question. I think it's a joke. Any other questions? What do you think of investing in shares Elon Musk is offering all over the social media? What kind of shares? I talk about Tesla, SpaceX. I mean, that's depending on you. Okay, here's the key on making money. You make money when you buy, not when you sell. Okay, for example, I'll give you an example. So when I look at mobile home park to purchase, if it's less than $20,000 per space, I know it's a good deal, because I know for sure, a couple years down the road, I can sell at least $30,000 per space. But if I had to buy it at $50,000 per space now, I don't know for sure if I'm gonna be able to sell it for $50,000 per space. Maybe I'm only gonna be able to sell for $40,000 per space. If I bought it at $50,000 per space, if I can only sell it at $40,000 per space, then I'm gonna lose money, right? So to answer your question, do you think what do you think about investing in shares of Elon Musk? It's all depending on, is it a good deal when you're buying. Let's say if the share used to be $500, if now it's only $100, maybe it is a good deal. But I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot tell you either way. But I'm just sharing with you my example. You know what I mean? My grief therapist died the other day. She was so good at her job that I don't even care. Okay. Says, if you want to be successful in any field, you should work for the company in that field first. I mean, maybe, yeah. I mean, but nowadays it's kind of different, right? Because nowadays the technology is so fast. Many companies, they do not even understand it. For example, TikTok or crypto. Many companies have no idea. So you cannot learn anything from these companies because they're old companies. Nowadays, many of this new technology, you can actually learn more of it from YouTube than any company. Because many companies, they don't even know. They're antiquated. They're old companies. Can you tell me how to do it in Australia? I'm not too familiar with the environment in Australia or the mortgage. You just need to basically figure out a way to get a down payment and get a mortgage and buy the property. And you gotta buy a property with a good enough return. So I have a calculator in my link. You can click and download the calculator. And if you have more questions, you can ask me details. Tesla will struggle against bigger competitors. Hello, bro, Jackson to Koopa. I don't have a welcome mate by my door because I'm not a liar. What I was saying earlier, let me see. So every country have a different environment, so you need to find a place that can have the market to give you a good enough investment. So for example, I'm in Los Angeles now. I'm not investing in Los Angeles because everything in Los Angeles is so expensive. The return is very low. I'm only investing out of state. I live in Los Angeles, but I do not invest in Los Angeles. So you gotta find a place that's have a good enough return. Today, for some reason, there's not much sun. Hello from Orlando, Florida. I own a lot of properties, and I think you need to update your strategy. Which country are you now? I'm in Los Angeles. Do you think real estate will crash? Whether crash or not doesn't matter. As long as you can get a deal, that's a good deal. Then you don't sell it. Then is irrelevant. I'm investing most of the Sun Belt state, Florida, Texas, Georgia. There are many states still have a lot of good deals. Okay, now it's 10:18. I'm gonna stay on for a little bit, and then I'm gonna get off. Sweet Vixie, what's your strategy? Can you share your strategy? I'm not sitting here teaching everybody. I'm just sharing, my experience. If you have a better experience, you could share too. Do you property manager? Yeah, I have a property manager, correct. I live in tourism city. How can I do Airbnb with a tiny budget? Look, I just made a video about Airbnb. Just find the owner that's willing to list you the property, and then operate it. What kind of ability you need to have to work in real estate? I would say the most important ability is sales. You need to be able to communicate with people easily. You need to be able to establish common ground with people. And as far as the numbers, it's very easy. The calculation is not that hard. You just need to know the basic calculations, how to calculate the cap rate, how to select the properties. Then that's all you need. Then just do two things: find deal and find money. Have you ever done a sub 2 deals? No, I didn't do a sub 2 deal, but no. How does it feel to be so handsome? Thank you. You're handsome too. Is there really 20,000 house? What state? There's a lot. There's still a lot. Yeah. Just go look on Realtor.com. There's a lot of properties that are cheap. I don't know exact the number, but I'm thinking you can at least find at least 5,000 properties in America that's under $20,000. Oh, actually, more people came back on. Any more questions? If not, I'm gonna log off. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for sharing knowledge. Appreciate. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for being here. Follow my TikTok. Give me some likes. Whatever question you have, we can talk about it next time. Let me know where you're from. You have a good one, okay?